All right, Uncle Sam FM here for my latest episode in the Uncle Sam FM Plays MLS. And I'm actually going to do kind of a special episode today because it is All-Star Week, and I'll get to that in a moment. But before we get to that, let's look at kind of how the team's doing so far since my last episode. So we've done pretty well. I believe our last episode was the San Antonio match where we defeated San Antonio 1-0. Right after that, went to LA, lost, and I actually was pretty much dominated in that game. Didn't play super well. I had possession, had more shots, but it wasn't as good a game as we're used to playing. Pontius scored the winning goal, and they did trot a better team out on the field tonight. They had the Dos Santos brothers, and they just have a better team. So, can't argue with that loss. Did advance in the Open Cup after beating Tulsa 4-2. Then we played Dallas at home. I really was not confident in winning this game because the team I trotted out there was not great. I started Malky and Stevens. Those two guys are not MLS level, and still managed to get a victory. I did have the advantage of Dallas having played a midweek game. Again, the scheduling guys were kind to me, but I had also. As a matter of fact, my layoff. Well, both of our layoffs was. I think we both played on the 21st in the Open Cup. We'll go look at their schedule real quick. June 21st. So they had played and lost to the Red Bulls. So we both had played a midweek game and then had to turn around and play on a Friday. So playing on a Wednesday and a Friday is never great for having your team fit. But we came out of that with a win, so that was good. That meant that we'll go look at that, but that meant we won the Texas Derby. Won both matches, so we won 4-0 away, 1-0 at home, and so we won that. Doesn't really mean much, but it is kind of a pride thing. As a Dynamo fan, I do like beating FC Dallas, so that was good. Then we played Sporting Kansas City in the Open Cup. Well, we had a loss to Colorado, and they definitely deserved to win that. I just didn't play well at all in that match. Not sure what it was, really. We had the midweek game, so I did have to play Malky and Stevens again, and even had to play Arturo Alvarez. Had to play Dylan Remick, who actually had a good game. Remick played well in Beasley's absence. Marcus Beasley, my left back. But Machado saw red in the 55th minute, and that cost me as they scored the winner in the 75th. They had a man sent off in stoppage time, but it was too little too late. And so, even with the sending off, we did not play well. Which one of the things I got to look at, I guess, is how I line up my team on the road. But it's kind of weird. It's inconsistent on the road. Like some matches will come out and we'll play really well, like the FC Dallas game where we won 4-0. I think I had another big win somewhere on the road. Maybe not. Well, here's with DC United. My last match won 4-1 on the road. So something I'm doing on the road, tactic wise, probably is failing me. So I'm gonna have to look at that. And the Minnesota game was absolutely terrible. We should not have even drawn that game. They outplayed me the whole match mostly. I obviously created more chances than I did. And somehow we got out of there with a win. We did score first. So I'm going to have to look at what I do on the road tactically. So in MLS, the standings, I am first place in the West. Have a pretty good lead. 9 points. That's solid. I'm in good shape to take first place in the West. The Supporter Shield, I'm behind New York City. they're far and away the class of the league right now. They have the best. They have the best team, best players. So, of course, they're gonna be the class of the league. So, with all that said, let's look at MLS All-Star Week. I do kind of like FM. A couple versions ago started allowing you to manage the MLS All-Star Game, and I was chosen to manage. I will be managing the MLS All-Stars against Chelsea. So that is kind of cool. I'm not sure how the game chooses the manager of the All-Stars, but feels like every game I start, I manage it the first year and then never again after. So I'm not really sure what the criteria is, but. So we talk a little bit about the MLS All-Star Game in real life. It's the All-Star Game is an American concept, obviously. It may be that we stole it from someone in another. I'm not 100% sure on the history of it, of the All-Star Game concept, but now it certainly is mostly thought of as an American deal. So the idea of the All-Star Game in American sports is they get all the best players of the league from all the different teams, bring them together, and then in most sports, they play against each other. So you have an East-West situation, or in baseball, American League, National League. And they play. It is kind of cool to see all the best players in the league on the same field playing against each other. The idea is these are the best players. In most sports, it's viewed as the best players in the world. Basketball, football, obviously American football, baseball to an extent. These are the best players of the world on the field. And obviously in soccer, it's not the best players in the world, but it is the best players in the league. And so, in MLS used to do it in East-West deal, but there are some problems with All-Star games. For example, most teams aren't crazy about giving up their players. In soccer, you're talking almost a week. So there could be fitness concerns. What if they get out there and get injured? So there's reasons not to do it at all. And some people don't want to just. It's hard to get people to go. The city that hosts the All-Star Game, they might be interested. You might have some show up. But it is kind of there's an interest issue there, and there's an interest issue there with the players. A lot of players would rather just have the time off. They'd rather not, fly to another city, which in the United States that is one. That's kind of something that's a little unique. Our country is relatively large. Obviously, it's not the biggest in the world, but it's not as small as, say, England or France, Germany. So the demands on travel in MLS is a lot more difficult than in other countries. And so you throw in another game that doesn't mean anything really. And so a lot of players don't even want to go. In a lot of sports, they have an issue where you get named to the All-Star Game, so that's all great. Some of them even have a bonus in their contract. But you're not really interested in actually going to play in it, and so a lot of them will, I pulled a hamstring, and so they don't show up. And so what MLS started doing to make it a little more intriguing was they started about 13 years ago. They started inviting a club from Europe to play against the MLS All-Stars instead of the MLS East versus MLS West, and that has been kind of interesting. You wouldn't think that MLS would have done very well, but they have a winning record in the All-Star Game. They've won 7 of 13, so I think they're 7-6 in the All-Star Games. First game I remember was Fulham, and they actually beat Fulham. They won the first 3 or 4. I think the second game was against Chelsea. Chelsea's played in it twice, and the All-Stars have won both. They've beaten Celtic. Beaten West Ham. A few years ago they played Bayern Munich when Pep Guardiola was there, and they beat Bayern. They won against Tottenham. some have not gone so well. Both of the matches, Manchester United came over and ran the MLS All-Stars off the field twice. Remember, there was a one goal in the first minute where you had Schoolboy defending. It was terrible. Man U won that game easily. They lost a pretty good. They played well, decent. They played okay against Arsenal. But Arsenal won. Last year, in real life, they played against Real Madrid, and that one went to penalties, and they lost. In real life, this year they're playing Juventus, so that should be interesting. Hopefully, they can give Juventus a game. Of course, it's not till July. And the good thing for the MLS All Stars is it's kind of early in the European preseason, so they're not usually getting the most fit, European teams in that game. So I think that helps a little bit. But on the other hand, the MLS All Stars have to try and come together and maybe 3 or 4 training sessions become a team, and that's sometimes it's pretty clear that they've not really done that. So anyway, it is kind of fun. And MLS has Football Manager has tried to recreate that. So you have the MLS All Star game, and they even will allow you to manage it. So looking at the MLS squad. I've got, first of all, a couple guys on injuries. I am going to go ahead and put them, let me put them at the last two. Let's see. I've got so those guys on injured, I'm going to put them on the team, but they probably won't get in. Rangongu and Joseph Martinez. My team is decent. It's not great. I'm starting David Villa. That's good. Villeri. Giovinco, who those that's a good front three, but it's only like a really, really good MLS front three. Those guys are probably, they might play for some mid-table European clubs, but Real Madrid's not trying to get these guys. David Villa maybe 10 years ago, but he's older. My back line is they're gonna leak. Probably. Bradley's serviceable, but again, he's not, Real Madrid wasn't, lining up a contract for him. So, and on the bench, I've got my guys on the bench, and this is probably, I usually don't put my guys in until the second half because I want to keep them fit for my matches, which, hey, that's the advantage I have being the manager of the team. So they're on the bench. I've got Schweinsteiger. He was, obviously he was an elite player, but he's older, so he's not anywhere near what he used to be. So let's look at our opponent, and that is obviously Chelsea. My scouting, don't know much about them, but they're a top-notch Premier League team. So they're going to be a challenge. You see their squad there. You know all these guys, so I'm not going to go super into it. The one advantage I have is that they're not super fit. Obviously, the overall fitness, they're good. Match conditions not great because they have started their preseason. Lost to Hamburg, Mons. They defeated Hamburg, defeated Mons. They played the Japanese. I think that's Japanese Albirex. No, sorry, Singapore. So they're coming in. They've played a few. They've got a few preseason friendlies under their belt. So fitness won't be as big as what I guess I would have hoped. I am just going to play my 4-3-3. I'm not going to overcomplicate things because I really don't care who wins this game. And so we'll get into it. The dressing room. We're underdogs, but going out there, give the fans something to cheer for, and then I have faith. Same old as always. These guys don't really care what I have to say because I'm not their real manager. I'll start with my standard. We'll just see how it goes in the beginning, but they're gonna probably will not far into the match, go into a more defensive setting, lower the the risk taking. Me personally, I guess like I'm one of the few Americans. Well, I don't know, there may be more, but I kind of think that the all-star concept is a little antiquated. I think it's time to sort of get rid of it. It is sort of pointless. Teams would rather have the day off. It's supposed to be all-star teams are supposed to be selected based on their performance, how well they've done for that season. But really what it is, it's their performance in only half of a season. Like, this is the All-Star game in MLS, and the way it's done in most leagues is it's played halfway through. So, what about the guys who play much, much better in the second half of a season? They should get the honor of being, declared an all-star. But because they didn't, perform as well in the first half, they don't get that honor. So for one, it's, the very concept is flawed, right? Because these guys are not, they've not put in a whole season. So we don't really know if they are an all-star. There may only be a half all-star. I'm not crazy about that. American football, they play theirs at the very, very end. They play it the week before the Super Bowl. We're getting Creighton. I'm playing terrible. They kind of have it right, although now they've stupidly taken teams that are in the Super Bowl out. It used to be played the week after the Super Bowl, and that's probably when it should be played. But by then, everybody's done with American football. So nobody watches, nobody goes. These guys, and American football is a really, really rough sport, so the players aren't interested in going and playing, a meaningless game. So the NFL moved it to the week before, and now it's nobody cares. Or, well, you take out players from the best two teams, so of course that's flawed. But nobody cared the last way they did it. So look at the first half, not bad. Outshot them, outpossessed them. They're fouling us like crazy. More shots on target. So tactically, not reason much to change. No reason to change much. Excuse me. I think I'm going to put in Schweinsteiger as Dos Santos. And I usually do make a lot of subs in the second half. I like to try to be true to real life and get everybody into the game. I will tell them, happy performance so far, keep it up. Faith in you. And let's get it going. So but baseball and basketball both have the flaw of having played in the middle of the season, and baseball plays 162 games. They're playing every day, and so baseball's really struggling with guys not playing. So you have half the all-star teams don't show up, and I'm starting to get torn up here, so I might need to think about changing something. Baseball tried to add a little incentive to the All-Star game, and what they've done is they've decided that, and because they do it American League versus National League, the winner of the All-Star game gets to they get to have the home field advantage in the World Series, which the World Series is a best of 7. Whoever wins the most games out of 7. And let's start 7 guys here. I'll bring in old Timmy Howard. Zuzi, look for my guys that are lower. I don't really have a left back. But you know what? Let's bring in Boniek. Let him get some action. Bring in Tomas Martinez. I'm not gonna. But it's not really solved the problem having people show up, and I think that's not really a good way to handle it either. It's not fair to give I'm a Cubs fan. Grew up a Cubs fan because I used to have their TV channel in my house for some reason, even though I live really far away from Chicago. So I grew up watching the Chicago Cubs. But they easily had the best record in 2016 in the league, and yet because the National League lost the All-Star game, they did not get home field advantage, and that really, I thought that was really stupid. But they got it done, got the win, and so that was exciting. So the All-Star game is, well, I'm not going to say it's not fun. It is kind of fun on FM, getting a little bit, actually getting to be a part of it, getting to manage it. But I, as an American sports fan, I am kind of ready for it to die. No, I would not be too disappointed if they stopped doing it. I think I would be in favor of them moving it to the end of the season. Problem then is you're going to have a hard time getting a European team to play. So it looks like we're going to go to penalties. I'll let Boniek take one. He just came in, so he'll be... I like how I'm the manager and they don't let me, like Bradley's. I just get his ranges. I mean, I'd like to know what his composure is before I gave him a shot. But let's throw him in. What difference does it really make? Who cares? Who freaking cares who wins this? So there's I'm gonna let Boniek take it last, and I'll let Tomas start it. I usually let my best kickers kick last, my best takers. Dos Santos. His composure is better, so I'm going to let him instead of Josie. No, Josie's a slightly better taker. Yeah, I'm not great. I'm sure there's better systems at picking penalty takers than me. As a matter of fact, Boniek, great. Well, let's let him shoot first, since his finishing is the worst of all of these guys. But he's mine, so. Alright, well, let's see how this goes. Penalty time. It's good because this video is starting to run a little long. Let's see if I made a huge mistake letting Boniek kick. I got it. Alright, so, Sterling. And he makes his, so we're tied at 1. Oh, Chelsea missed their first one. How did I miss that? So I'm up 2-1. And Bradley, I couldn't see his stats. Probably I might not have picked him if I was able to see his attributes. So, 2-1 Chelsea. Schweinsteiger coolly levels it. Come on, Timmy. Give me a save here. Give me a save. Of course, Tim Howard, the hero of that near win against Belgium. Giovanni. Well, looks like I'm going to lose my all-star managerial debut. Keegan coming in. But it really doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. Well, congrats to Chelsea. They won on penalties. No big shock, as I really didn't have much of a team. Good effort, guys. And now I hope to go kick all of your behinds during the season. So, looking ahead, I've got Portland coming up. This is my next match. It's a big conference match, as Portland's outside of the playoff race right now, so they're and you start seeing this right about now. The teams trying to qualify for the playoffs do kind of start coming at you a little more. I think MLS or FM does a pretty good job of representing that, and so Portland's probably going to start. Well, they're gonna start out looking to get points because they need them. And also, I've kind of the Open Cup results have kind of been going my way. I had the good win, a very good win over Sporting Kansas City. I really expected them to play better than they did. Now, obviously, possession-wise wasn't great, but they're a team that likes to possess the ball, and but I definitely created a lot more chances than they did. As you can see, I outshot them 15-6, and they had no clear or half chances. I had 5, so that was a game where, as possession, I didn't get what I would like to have. I definitely had the better match, and so I advanced. And then I also got lucky because Chicago lost to Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is a USL team, and so they are not. That's going to be about as good of a draw as I could have gotten. And I did notice one other thing when I looked at just out of curiosity, having to look at the USL standings, and I was a little disappointed in my play against San Antonio, but San Antonio is not bad. They're having a really good USL season. At the time that I played them, they actually were tops. They had the best record of the league, the best overall points. They've kind of since fallen, and you've seen Phoenix Rising emerge and start to kind of run away with things in USL. But San Antonio, that was a respectable result with my second team. Tulsa also, I defeated Tulsa, and they are 5th in the Western Conference in USL, so that's a decent result. And as I look at Colorado Springs, they're actually mid-table. So this this was a really good draw to get them in the semifinal of the Open Cup. Scheduling has definitely gone my way this season. It's helped me in a lot of results, and because now I'll be able to play a weakened team, and then still be able to turn around and play against Real Salt Lake with a stronger team. Fitness won't be as big of an issue with my first team. And Real Salt Lake has slid back a little bit. They were one of the main challengers I had in the West, but they've kind of fallen off. So the scheduling gods have definitely been friendly to me. So with that said, that was a special all-star episode of Uncle Sam FM Plays MLS. Tune in to the next episode when I start looking. I'm not sure what I'm going to examine closer, but we'll look at one of the MLS squad rules. So thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, and we will see you next time.